This is Mike Lanier from CarShowNationals.com. Let's roll. And Ed from Ed Talks. What up? So you've been busy. I've been busy. We've all been busy. I'll tell you that.
It's crazy. I love seeing it with Jeff too. That's awesome. He's a great dude. He's got a great personality too. That's awesome.
I don't know about your connection now. Every once in a while it cuts out, but we'll see. See how this goes. We're just catching up.
I'm at home. At home, I have a. I don't even know how fast. We have one of the better ones here, but the shop one, I like the best, and it seemed to work pretty good. But it's still because you still got to worry about the other person. So, is that the skateboard you got at SEMA?
Yeah, I got it in the background there.
I should have stole that from you when I had the chance.
I was worried it was gonna fit in my suitcase. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how's everything going with you with all this going on now? This is crazy. This coronavirus thing is really kicking the world's ass.
Well, so what happened is last week my girlfriend got sick, and I worked on Sunday night. I got home and I'm like, oh, let's go buy the freezer that we're gonna go buy because she's gonna go with me. I walk in the door and she's like, I don't feel good. She had like 102 temp, and I'm like, what? So I end up driving and going picking it up, because we wanted a freezer in case we needed it, and because of everything happening.
I got it.
So
yeah.
So then what happened then is the next day I go fill it all up. I went to the grocery store and just started buying stuff, and then I kind of told everyone else, like, people need to start buying stuff because if they start shutting stuff down, you're not going to be able to get anything.
You know what's funny? It's funny because a lot of people are like coming down on people for hoarding per se. I will be prepared to be able to go a few weeks or a month. And
I'm losing you quite a bit.
The one girl.
There. Well, you're pretty. Yeah, you were clear at first, and now I'm losing you.
Hold on 1 minute, okay?
Right.
I'm going to tell them to just get off the internet upstairs for a little.
All right. What's the magic on this? Editing. Now, of course, everything's looking good. It's weird. It's just when he's talking.
Are you playing a video game? Okay, but you're not on the internet, right? No, okay, so just double check that for me, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you never know with this internet nowadays. I mean, we finally paid for the higher speed internet, and it literally seemed like it was high speed for about 2 days. Then I bet you they're regulating the crap out of it or something, because we're kind of not even noticing a difference. So, and we're supposed to have 5 times faster, So, who knows?
Well, that's what when I was at the shop. Sorry, can you hear me any better now?
It just kind of cuts in and out, but you go in and out. You're good now, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, I can't hear what you're saying sometimes. It's funny.
Okay. When we had it at the shop, it was definitely way too slow in the beginning. And I went and got the better one, and then so far, that's been really good. But,
yeah.
With all this going, did you catch that?
Yeah, a lot of people are using the internet right now, and that might also not help things. But
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you can't hear me, maybe we should just try it from the shop.
yeah,
If I break it,
yeah, unless it's Skype, but I don't know if it's Skype or is it internet connection. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Like my internet here is okay. I don't know if it's. I don't even know really what speed I'm at. Is there a way to test it?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I got to figure out what it is too, because I have a feeling that our internet's way slower than what they say it's supposed to be.
I
That's
think you
my.
could do it. I think you could do a test, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna look for it. It's probably in my computer, in your computer settings, I would think, but I'm not gonna try to find it.
Huh.
We could always try it
Um,
on Blue Jeans, which I've had pretty good luck with Blue Jeans. I decided to go with it once we
is it
got.
big?
I have to pay for it, but it's not very expensive. They just lowered the price on it. It's $169 for a year, and you can have up to 75 people. That's what I use for the podcast we just did.
Yeah, I tried to go and I couldn't get on.
Yeah, there's a couple people who couldn't get on for some reason. I don't know if they couldn't figure it out or because I sent out the same link to everyone, and some people no problem. Some people just said they could only get audio, so I don't know. And some guys didn't know what they're doing. So this guy was like 70 years old. He couldn't figure it out, So
Oh shit! Are you making fun of me?
no, not at all. I have problems with computers and stuff too. So
Yeah, I wish I could figure out how to test my speed.
yeah.
Do you hear me better now? Is it coming through, or is it still breaking?
Sometimes it sounds like you've been drinking. You're like slurring your words, like. Bleh. There you go. That could be it.
You know what's funny? I've had this bottle for God knows how many. Probably, I'm gonna say at least a year, 2 years, maybe more. And you see how much is out of it?
Yeah.
I take like every once in a blue moon, I'll take a shot. Actually, it's funny. I took one yesterday and today because I'm thinking like maybe it'll help if you got because they say this virus lives in your throat for a few days.
Right.
So if anything's gonna kill it, it's gonna be old Jack Daniels. I'm not much of a drinker. I really don't like. I drink once in a blue moon.
Well, what happened to me is was it last week? So my girlfriend got sick. Then on Tuesday, I got sick. I didn't feel good. I ran a super low temperature, as far as not a high temp. And they never tested her because they said, "Oh, you haven't been out of the country." That was their good reason to not test her. Now they're saying they should test everyone, but there's a shortage of tests here, so you can't really get tested if you're sick. It's just like my work said, "Oh, just go home. You got to stay home for 14 days." I'm like, I probably just have a cold. No, you can't be here. And I still have one. And I got to go back on Thursday, so they're gonna send me home. I have no idea, but who knows if I have the virus or not?
Get paid,
to be honest with you.
Are they paying you to go home?
I had to use my vacation days. I had to use some vacation days, and I had to use some sick time that I do have. But yeah, so I've been out of work for 14 days. Gonna be for 14 days. So, and because of this virus deal, my whole family is pretty much out of work right now. Like everyone that I know, like my brother and sister, both. Well, my brother's working from home, but my sister, she cuts hair. She can't do anything at this point.
Wow.
And then my brother's wife, she's probably not going back for 1 to 3 months. It's like it's happening everywhere too. It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's definitely scary, man.
So it's like, when is this gonna end? Because it's really taking a dent out of car show season already. Some of my favorite shows, like this weekend, that's not gonna happen. And we could be talking into June or July at this point, man.
It could be worse than that, Mike. It could be that.
One of the conversations we had, I don't know if you watched the 3-hour video we did, but Bogey said that there's concern that SEMA might not happen.
I don't think it's going to.
You're thinking it's not?
I don't think so, because think about it like this. How much stuff has to happen for SEMA to happen, and how many things have to be planned in advance? And if this doesn't happen, if they find something to chill everybody out, like pretty quickly, maybe. But I'm talking within the next month. If they don't have a solution by the end of this month coming up, or at least something to look forward to, some bright light at the end of the tunnel, there's no way SEMA's going to happen. I mean, there's no way now I'll have my car done. I mean, unless someone, gave me a bunch of money and I didn't have to do any work at all, I'm at the shop once in a blue moon. I've been really just cleaning up. I mean, I have a couple little things to tidy up, like customers like not custom work, but regular work. Like I have a couple of vehicles that are there that people need back. So I got to get a couple cars back to people that are just basically like electrical stuff. But I'm really not doing any custom work right now. I mean, I guess, it's just me at the shop now. No one else is coming in, here and there. I could probably work on a SEMA car a little bit. But again, it's like, it's kind of takes the wind out of your sails, all this, like it's depressing, it's really,
right.
It's hard to think about working on a project car when, the world is so crazy,
Well, I agree. And, everyone had fun on Friday night. We all had fun, and it was kind of a getaway.
Yeah.
Tori said, thank you for doing this, because he's in New York. He was a firefighter during 9/11, and he said this is worse than 9/11.
Oh, it's a million times worse than 9/11. Yeah. Listen, 9/11, the world got scared for a little bit, including myself. But that kind of went away, the next day when everyone realized everything's under control and the whole world isn't coming to an end. Everyone's afraid. This is real terror.
Right.
If this was done, there's some talks. I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but, there's some people that believe this could have been, a biological agent that got loose from China that, maybe they didn't necessarily mean to do it. It could have been something that somebody was working on. Maybe not. Maybe it's just some freak that happened. But, I mean, if you talk about terror, this is real terror. Blowing up if you're not there and your family wasn't directly impacted, and I don't mean to, take away from people that have actually physically dealt with it, but I mean, like, where you are in Minnesota, 9/11 isn't that scary because it's here, it's not there. This is everywhere. This is everywhere, and it's getting worse. And there was one doctor, an Indian doctor today, and he was basically saying that it's going to be, a lot longer than what anyone's predicting. And he said everyone's basically going to catch it, and we're going to slowly build up an immunity like the flu. And, he just said you want to be one of the people that catch it later than earlier because they'll have hopefully some vaccines a year from now. And, but I think the world's changed.
Yeah.
I think the world has changed. This is a big car, So
yeah, so did you get the Johnny Balmer sent me something? Did he send you anything? He sent me some videos from China.
Oh yeah. Terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, they got those big trucks with like foggers on the back, and they're like full-size semis, and they're fogging every street. We don't see that happening here. And then they got a whole army of guys with they look like leaf blowers, but they're blowing, what is it, bleach water or who knows what.
Who knows? But maybe we should be doing that.
Right? I mean, we're not.
There was a guy, and he was economist, whatever. Economist. I couldn't get it. It took my tongue. And he was basically saying how, you know, he said he's not like a conspiracy guy. He's a numbers guy. And if you look at what happened with China, you know, their economy bounced back the fastest. And they're buying up United States stocks and companies and gold and everything left and right now. So, you know, like it sounds kind of crazy, but if you did have a disease that you had a vaccine for, and, you know, if you're a communist country and you know, don't care if a handful of your people die, you know, what better way to put yourself in the top of the world is what they're doing. What's happening, if they did it on purpose or it's happening by accident, is what's happening, you know. Again, I mean, why, you know, again, are they telling the truth about the real death tolls and what's happening over there? Like, who knows? It's a communist country and they may not, but, you know, the fact that they're buying up so much stuff right now is a really, I guess what I'm saying is it's a really shady time for a country that had to start this to be also profiting from it. You know what I mean? It seems very crazy that, and I mean, who knows if that guy's even on the ball, but, you know, there's so much out there, and, you know, you hope to, like the, you know, this whole thing with that medicine, the malaria medicine, you hope that works, you know, you hope that does something.
Well, when the one Chinese doctor tried to alert people, you know, he ended up getting killed. I mean, if that's not a cover-up, I don't know what is, but I mean, if there's something like that happened, and there is a testing center in Wuhan, China, I mean, well, I don't know.
There were people from Harvard that got caught working with them directly, even though they had to legally state that they wouldn't work with any other countries. And, you know, this is like biological stuff. One guy got caught trying to bring something here or there or back to China from here. You know what? There's a guy that goes on Joe Rogan's podcast all the time. I forgot his name. He was the old leader of the CIA. And he was talking about how, you know, how bad China really is, you know, how much they steal our intellectual property and, you know, they just do what they want. So, I mean, is this, you know, like if China did it on purpose, right? Let's say this was some evil conspiracy thing that they did. The whole world would be against them. You know what I mean? Like the whole world.
At this point.
At this point, you would have no friends. So, but again, you know, that's not to say that the Chinese American, the people that are here, are bad. You know, people are taking it out on them, and it's kind of crazy. You know, it's locally. I live in PA now, but there's like a whole bunch of people from PA like arguing and fighting with people, and they're calling them front platers because New York's have front plates and PA has no front plates. So the people in this area are upset because people from New York who own houses up here are coming up here.
Right.
Now, I get the fear of it, but at the same token, you can't tell someone who owns a house, pays taxes on a house, and comes here and supports the community normally that they shouldn't come here in a time like this, you know? And they're all hypocrites because a lot of these people shop in New York and New Jersey. It's so ridiculous, but it's a big, big local thing. Like people are like starting all this drama and they're putting up signs, go back to New York and all this.
Well, aren't they, I talked to Ed Beard today on the phone, and he said, isn't there like blockades or not letting people from New York out of the state now?
No.
That's what he's heard.
Not by me. I mean, I go over the border every day, you know.
Yeah.
But
maybe certain parts of New York, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really impede somebody's travel unless it's a full military lockdown. You know, if it's just like a full, like the president would have to say that. And still, how do you do that? You know, they tried to do that, I think, in Rhode Island. Rhode Island police were turning away New York plates.
Right.
And then Cuomo had like a heart attack. I mean, I never really liked Cuomo, but he's really kind of stepped up a little bit during all this.
I agree with you totally.
Yeah, he was, you know, but he was also accused of like letting the Hasidics do whatever they want. And they're still having like these big gatherings, weddings. They're all getting together. and
Oh,
this
geez.
virus is spreading through their community like wildfire. And
Oh, wow.
because people say that Cuomo, like they kind of have some say because they donate to him and everything, that he won't do anything about it. It's just like, what's happening is everyone's scared, and it's bringing out all types of insecurities and fears and pettiness, and
Right.
so I don't know.
Ed is down in Florida right now, and he said they're not letting New York plates into Florida. He said they're turning them back because a lot of them have winter homes in Florida, and a lot of the New Yorkers are going back down there to try to stay there, and he said they're getting turned away. That's what Ed was saying.
I don't know if that's true, to be honest. I don't know.
He's down there right now in Pompeo Beach or whatever he said. So he's been down. He's been down there for like a week.
Not to disagree with him, maybe he's right, but I think that would be all over the news. Because how can you legally stop someone from traveling to their own house?
Yeah.
How could you tell somebody? So
We'll have to see. We'll see. Look for it in news reports and see if it ever comes up.
You never know. Listen, everyone's scared, so who knows? Maybe that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, who would ever thought that all these businesses would be closed right now?
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's true. It's insane.
Even if you're flying, like I don't know which airline it was. They were they had like 10% of their fleet was still running.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I'm still coughing. But Bogey mentioned on Friday in that podcast we did, she said that Ford and General Motors is a big supporter of SEMA. So they bring big money to SEMA, and because of what's happening, she's thinking it might be an issue, for SEMA going. So that's what she was bringing up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
everybody, if 20% of those companies aren't ready to go to SEMA this year because they didn't make any money and they can't afford it, SEMA's not going to happen.
Right. Well, Nelson was on our podcast, and he was up 56% this year. He said that he's almost done everything that he did last year already.
Yeah, but now it's going to hit the brakes,
Right.
Unfortunately.
Unless people are working on stuff still.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of guys are working in their shops still.
Well, yeah, because like my shop, I don't have a waiting room. I don't have anybody coming in. It's just me. So, if I do go to the shop, I bring food with me. I've been to the drive-thru a couple times, but I try to bring food with me. I'm bringing my coffee thermos tomorrow, so I don't have to leave for a cup of coffee. But the problem is, going back to this whole hoarding thing, I had a lady at one of the local stores say, if people didn't take so much, there'd be enough for everybody. And I'm like, well, right now you have restrictions on how much people could take, and you still don't have enough. So that right there in itself proves that it didn't work like that. It probably should be the opposite. You should be prepared for, a few, at least a month, God forbid something. There's a million other things that could happen to cause this. But hopefully, I have some extra canned stuff and some frozen stuff, but, I'm not super prepared. But now the problem is, and I was saying this to someone else, say, for example, you cut it down to you can get 1 pack of toilet paper, per person, per day, whatever. So that means if you have a family, right, of 3 or 4 people, 5 people, you have to go to the store now every few days. So instead of someone that could have, hey, I'm going to keep as much stuff as I can, and I'm off the grid and I'm staying home, now you're kind of forcing people to go to the store every day. So it's scary, it's really scary. I don't know. Man, I wish I had a better answer for if I understood this or not, but it's just scary, man. Like really, like scary, like horror movie scary. You know what I mean? It's
Well, I went to a local Walmart out here, and they literally were out of everything. I mean, I have never seen it so empty. A store so empty that any of the food stuff gone. I mean, there's like one can of this, one can of that, but everything was totally got emptied.
See,
It's been nuts here. So
by me, I have a super Walmart by me, so most of the food is there. Like they restock every day. They closed it. It used to be 24/7, so now they closed and they restock at night and they open in the morning for an hour for the elderly, which is really nice.
Right.
And then there's basically everything there. I mean, there's no toilet paper.
Yeah, we haven't seen toilet paper in any store for like weeks.
Oh, it's crazy. So we had done a skit right before this happened. When because Melanie and Justin always break my chops that there's no toilet paper in the shop.
Right.
So I went out to the dollar store and I bought a whole bunch to put around the toilet. Like I built a little canopy around the toilet with toilet paper. So it's funny how it happened, but a week later, people were, oh my God, we need toilet paper. I'm like, well, we got toilet paper.
Right.
Right.
I
don't have that. I gave some away to some of my local friends and family, and I have a little bit at the shop for Melanie and Justin. Matter of fact, I dropped off a 4-pack to Justin's house the other day
because he ran out.
Yeah, because they were having a problem finding it. I was like, well,
yeah, it's nuts.
It's like the new gold,
Yeah, right.
What's
Even
funny?
Amazon's out of it. My girlfriend was looking at Amazon, and now they're talking about striking. Amazon's talking about walking out all the workers.
Oh my God!
So it's like, if that happens, but I mean, they had toilet paper on there. The lead time is 35 days.
Wow.
So and they're out of most of it.
That's crazy.
But if they go on strike, what's going to happen?
I use a lot of paper towels in the body business, or anything I do, I use paper towels.
Right.
So I went to the auto parts store and I'm like, do you guys have any of the box of towels, that I use? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? Let me take 4 boxes of it, because, in a month or 2 months, if I can't get paper towels, believe it or not, that could one thing that slows me down or stops me from working, something as simple.
Right.
So and then I got we use the N95 masks in the shop a lot, and I called up the place that I normally deal with. And I was like, hey, man, do you have any of those N95 masks? And the guy's like, well, I don't know if I could sell them. They're getting kind of valuable. And I'm like, dude, I spend thousands of dollars a year with you. If you don't sell me some masks that I need in my shop, I'm not going to deal with you again. Your auto body supply place, you should still be supplying to the auto body shop to still have to, if at that point there wasn't a talk about closing or not working. A lot of the body shops now are closed, but I still did dust mask, so, but I just gave one to this kid. I have I think 10 or 15 left. And I just gave one to this kid at the gas station because he's dealing with people in and out every day, and he's a really nice kid. So I brought him one in the Ziploc bag, and I threw it at him. But actually, Melanie's making she's stitching.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
she did one for her husband.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's cool of her. So I try to get her to sell them so she can make a few bucks doing it. She wants to give them away, which is very nice of her. But I think, you give them away to the right people and you sell some to people that can afford it. And that's the way to do it. But that's cool,
Yeah, give it to some of the friends and people she knows, family.
Yeah. So.
Well, I saw you. We can go to cars. I did see that you did a podcast with Paul Sr.
Yeah, that was
another podcast with Paul Sr. Yeah,
well, I did one with me, him, and his main guy there, and then I was on theirs. But to be honest, that taped a long time ago. That probably taped months and months ago. So the fact it came out, it was cool though. I the guy who's doing it with them is a cool dude, and it was just it's always fun to catch up with those guys. I haven't really been by there much lately, especially now with this going on. That's like another thing is what's going to happen to Orange County Chopper now. Like
All right.
This could really, affect them because they count on people buying bikes. Nobody's going to the bar. I don't even know if they could be open, to be honest. So,
well, the restaurants are closed here. Are they closed out there?
Yeah, they're closed, but they can. You could do
drive-through,
take out and drive through.
Unless they're doing takeout or drive through, it's hard to say. Do they have a takeout program? A lot of companies are adapting, but
I'm sure you could. But I mean, that building's so big and it's so crazy that if the showroom isn't open and nobody could go bowling or play video games, what's the sense of keeping it open to sell some burgers? I don't know, because they make a lot of money from people sitting at the bar and drinking, and
Right.
so.
And like entertainment venues like that are closed here. Bowling alleys, amusement parks, all that's closed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So
Mall of America is closed.
yeah, they're supposedly opening a new mall. They were supposedly going to open a new mall, and it was going to be the biggest mall in the world. I think bigger than Mall of America, or a huge mall. And they postponed the opening of that. I forgot where it was.
Wow. Yeah.
Could you imagine opening a mall now? Like, ta-da! And
Yeah.
even before the ban, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
really changed in the last couple of weeks, probably the last month. Just unreal.
the whole world changed. This is it, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be, there's going to be, before the coronavirus and after coronavirus, and what's going to happen? Who knows?
Right.
It's definitely
People are hoping it's going to die out in the summer, but if you look at Arizona, it's hot there, but it's not humid, I guess. And they still have 560 in the county that my parents are in right now, 560 cases. So
Yeah.
it's not, unless it's got to get hotter than what it's been, maybe, but it hasn't helped much.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. There's a lot of people that say that won't happen because of the, there's some diseases that do chill out a little bit in the summer. But if it's a virus, I guess they're saying that because of the, like I heard some people say it's better in the humidity. It survives better because when it's drier out, it's got fat around it. And that fat dissolves, and then the virus dies faster. I don't know. Just speaking from like all the tidbits you get off the internet, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I watch some of the, that doctor that they have on. They have him on CNN all the time, and then kind of Trump's kind of told him not to talk anymore, pretty much. So.
Well, what's funny is. Trump's in a tough spot because he's trying to calm down a country of people that are starting to panic. And, is that maybe a good thing for him to do? Like, yes. But, at the same token, what do you say? You probably want to try to get, to the point where you're hoping like something breaks, I know that, they're saying like that Trump is really pushing on like the Food and Drug Administration and people to get a vaccine pushed through and no red tape and so I don't know, man. I think what he's dealing with is the hardest thing in the world to deal with because it's not like you're dealing with an enemy. You know what I mean? If you had if you had the Russians over here fighting us in the street, Trump would know what to say and what to do. But what do you say to people about a disease that you don't know anything about that's brand new?
Right.
It's brand new. You don't know anything. So he's up there. He has to say something, but unfortunately, nobody's going to appreciate it. I just think he's in a bad spot, especially with how great the economy was doing before this. And
man, everything was on fire. The economy is doing awesome. So again, that leads back to the conspiracy theory, right?
Well, that's why they got mad because he forced China to, with some of those sanctions and new rules and everything. And, that's why the one guy thinks that China had something to do with this. But again, you're affecting the whole world.
Right.
You know, it's not just one place. Maybe they thought maybe there was something done. I mean, when you hear what this other guy, damn, I wish I could remember his name now. And he was basically saying like how China is very underhanded and very, you know, it's all about what they could do to get ahead and nothing else really matters. One guy was saying today, he's like, if you deal with China and you use the values and the morals that you know, have as being an American, you're going to lose because they don't have some of the same values and morals as us when it comes to certain things. So again, I mean, you know what? Who knows? I just heard a Chinese billionaire, sent a bunch of mess and everything to Africa, and who knows? But I tell you what, it's going to get real interesting. But I think, you know, all the emphasis has to be put on finding a vaccine. And they're saying that some drug companies aren't even trying because there's not enough money in it.
Right.
And that's like, you know, I think that the president should be telling these companies, hey, if you want to ever deal in this country again, you know, you better be having everyone in your business trying to figure out a way to fix this.
Right.
So, you know, it's
terrifying. Tory, you know, that's what Tory talked about. We talked about General Motors, and you know, the government bailed them out back in 2008, and then they were playing hardball for those ventilators, and then basically Trump forced them to make it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of sad when, you know, the U.S. bails them out, and then they don't turn around and help the American people. It's pretty sad.
They should be jumping to make those things. You know how good they look if they volunteer to do it right away.
I think Ford was the company who did. General Motors was just trying to raise the price and just playing, you know, like we don't think we can make this many and doing all sorts of games, you know. So it's pretty sad, you know, to their own American people. I mean.
Well, this is going to put a lot of people, you know, shine a light on people, you know, in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And it's funny because all the people here in PA, they give a lot of crap to the New Yorkers, the front platers, right? But they go to New York hospitals,
right?
And New York doctors, and New York dentists, and New York stores, and so.
That's
it's
funny.
You know, and I said to one lady, I said, well, let me ask you a question. What if you had to go, you know, to a hospital and the doctor there was a New Yorker and he didn't like Pennsylvania people? What if he turned you down? You know, and the lady was like, oh, he couldn't do that. I'm like, well, so it just shows you how like fear like fans the fire of ignorance. You know what I mean? Like once you're a little ignorant, and again, like, you know, I hate to think any of this was ever done on purpose. But, you know, there have been things that have been done on purpose that were, you know, shady. And so I don't know.
Let's hope it didn't happen, but let's just hope it didn't happen that way. Then I lost, you know, you lose a little faith in humanity there. So let's hope not.
Well, I don't necessarily think, I mean, like, I think there was a better chance of maybe they were developing biological weapons. Like I'm sure every country has some sort of biological weapon, but I mean, how easy is it for that to get out? You know, you're talking about like something so simple that one mistake can go from one person to two person to 10 people to 30, 100. You know,
right?
So, I mean, again, it's just like having nuclear weapons. It's the fucking dumbest thing in the world to have nuclear weapons. But if everyone doesn't have them, they don't feel safe from the countries that do have them already.
Right.
It's like, you know, they say, it says it on the podcast all the time. A well-armed society is a polite society. So it's like you have a whole world full of, you know, nuclear weapons, and everyone's kind of at least not dictators, right? You know, it kind of keeps everybody in check. If like, say Iran had all the nuclear weapons and nobody else had anything, it would all be screwed because you'd have some maniac like, all right, you're going to do what I want, or I'm going to level your whole country. So
Right.
To be honest, I think this could be worse than a small nuclear weapon. You know?
Well, we'll see. We don't even know what the death toll is going to end up being now. Trump's predicting 100,000 people.
In the country?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be way more than that.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, they did a study at the U of M. And they said if we wouldn't have done anything in Minnesota, there'd be 74,000 dead.
Already.
That's their prediction from what's happened so far. And millions sick, of course. So what else? So the car's kind of on hold. We don't know about SEMA, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna, like, I still have to get a couple customers out of the shop car wise, like I said, some electrical problems.
Yeah.
Once I don't have to be there as much, I probably won't. I'll probably just stay home, and thank God I have like 1 million gigs of video footage to edit. you know how much fun that is.
I had no fun with it last night, I'll tell you that. I need a better editing program.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? The better you get at it, the more you realize how much work it is. I totally feel for real editors. Like, oh my God.
And that's taking forever to upload. I literally let my computer run overnight now. I just give up and just let it run overnight.
Yeah, sometimes it's the best thing to do.
So that Jeff said, "Hey, why don't you?" Because I told him I was working with Discovery before, but I only had bad chat on. He's like, "Give him a call or email him, let him know that we can do some more podcasts." So I emailed and they said, "Oh yeah, look forward to working with you again." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
So I asked if we could get Jesse James on. I'm going all big time, because he's coming back out of the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll see what happens. I said we'll see if he's got any media time. So, and then we were going to interview some people from a new show that's supposed to be coming out beginning of this April or it was end of March, and I think literally when New York got shut down, they quit doing everything, including working at the office, because I haven't heard a word since. We were going to interview these guys before the show went on TV, so before they even had it on.
Where is the shop from? New York?
I'm not sure where they're actually building the cars, but Mad Mike is going to be on the show that he was on.
The guy from Pimp My Ride?
Yep, he was going to be one of the guys on the show. So
I believe I met him. I kind of for a while knew Dane and Q for a little bit. But it's been a long time.
Right. So I saw you had Wade Kawasaki on, and you had Chris. Yeah.
Wade's cool.
Chris Walker.
Yeah.
Who else did you have on? Luke.
Yeah, Luke Merrill. He was fun. We did the guys from Superfly Autos. I'm going to be on now their podcast, I think on the 6th. I don't know if theirs is going to come out. So it's fun, Wade's interesting because I didn't know Wade was as big as he was. He was like a guy that owned a tire company, and he was a bass fisherman. So I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. He's catching bass, right? So one day I saw a post like Wade Kawasaki, the chairman of SEMA, and I was like, holy shit! Here I am leaving posts like nice bass, nice fish. I gotta go. He invited me to go down fishing. This is a long time ago. And I told him on the podcast, I said, I think I'm going to take you up on that now with all this going on. Who knows? But
right.
He's such a nice dude. He's so good for this automotive world. And it's just it's good to know there's good people at the helm, leading this. And it really makes it possible for people like me and people like you to follow, to be a part of this community. and he's successful, and he's unapologetically successful. He does the right thing with his success. And they built some great companies, and they lead by following values and getting behind good people with good companies. And it's just like, that's the type of people that I want to be around, I
think both of us are making good connections, I think that's the cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, like, this whole automotive world is like a small family. And I think if people don't get caught up in he did this and I did that, and this car is better than my car, and they painted the car red like my car is red, and I think if you put that stuff aside, like, for me, it's very easy for me to be a fan of other people's work. I'm more tough on bad attitudes. Like, if people think they're too good, or if people think they're this or they're that shit, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you think you're better than someone else because you maybe had a better opportunity, or, like I said, there's some guys in their garage that are amazing that nobody knows about. Right now, this minute while we're talking, there's some maniac working on some amazing car and doing something totally different that doesn't get any attention. So, like, when that one person gets attention and then they become cocky, I fucking hate it. Right. I hate it with a passion. When someone has an attitude and they think like they are better than other people because of this opportunity they would put themselves in. Those are the people that I want to take down a peg. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. We had Von Hot Rod on. Man, cool guy. Yeah, and he's had some cool stuff.
He's like a cartoon character. I met him like I was Facebook friends with him, and I think I met him maybe with Nicole before she had passed one of the SEMAs. I met him with somebody, and then I ran into him again, and I said hello, and he seemed very like Bugs Bunny, like he wasn't a real, not in a bad way. He seemed very like animated and very like
right. He loves what he's doing. I think he loves the automotive world. I mean, he's got a deal. He announced it on the podcast we did, saying that he made the shirt "Car Guy Strong," and he's gonna give people T-shirts at wholesale to sell them for $20, and they get to keep the profits. Anyone who's got a shop or in the automotive industry, he'll just contact him. He'll send them out to you, and then you can sell them yourself to different people or whatever to raise money for your shop. I thought that was a pretty cool gesture. He's got a printing service that he runs. He told me, you should hook up with me. I could print everything you want. He offered that to me, but yeah, super nice guy. Really loves what he's doing. You can tell.
Like I said, I spoke to him this year at SEMA. He's an interesting dude, man. But again, there's so many people like that make up that world, and I guess once you start getting behind the scenes a little bit, you know what I mean, and now because you're getting there, and myself too, you're starting to really get to know people as friends. I had Kevin Tetz on, and
yes.
He's just an amazing dude. Like, he's a ball of energy and positivity.
Right.
And it's so crazy because it's so I don't even know if I let on to him how much he's such an inspiring person.
Right.
By the way he does things. And that's what's great about the podcast is you get a chance to get a little closer with people like this. And to me it's I absorb it. I'm like a sponge. Like, when I see people that have a great personality and they're positive, it makes me want to be more like that. Right. With Wade or with Kevin or the guys from Superfly or even Tin Man. He's got such a great personality. What I love about him is people shit on his stuff, his rat rod stuff, and I've seen it firsthand myself. And then he builds this beautiful, beautiful, shiny, amazing car. Right. And I'm just like, oh shit! I actually brought him up in the podcast with Wade, because it's just I love to see that. I love to see a guy like Luke, like sticking with a build like that. And it's something I can't do almost. Like the fact that he was able to build a car and just stick to one vehicle, that's my dream. Like if I hit the lotto tomorrow, I would pay people to finish some of the cars I have, right, for customers, and I would just work on my own cars, just build amazing vehicles, and the guys in the shop and Justin and Melanie and everyone, they all have their ideas of like something cool they would want to do, and I would be like, even yourself included, I'd be like, Mike, fly down here, and you got a room, and let's build that truck you want to build. Like that's all I would do is build, me and my friends' vehicles and just have fun,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So that's why, like, I look at Jeff Allen and I'm like, man, he's got a good gig because he doesn't really have to do customer work, and like I don't know how to get to that point. I mean, I guess when I get to that point, I'll know it. But I'd love to just work on my own vehicles.
It doesn't hurt when he's buying and selling cars. I mean, he knows what he's doing on that end.
You're right.
So
you're right. And people had brought that up to me. There was a network that wanted to do a show with me. It was basically like a bite off of Gas Monkey Garage. Basically the same thing, obviously with different personalities, and the level of work and the type of work I would do would probably, I wouldn't say level, but different. I would do different things, and that's why they were interested. But I have something new I'm going to be working on that I think is going to be perfect. But, all this stuff has to go away first before I could get into it too much. So right now it's just like survival, I have a shelf of ammo. I have some toilet paper.
Jeez.
I have enough canned food to, survive for a month maybe.
Yeah.
But I put a post on Facebook that everyone was loving, and I said, after this is over, I'm going to have a party, and all the Vienna sausages and canned peas you can eat.
I did see that. I saw the Vienna sausages. I'm like, what's about you must have bought a bunch of them?
You know what's funny? I'd never had them. So I was like, shit, if the shit hits the fan and I got to eat some of this stuff. So I tried some of it. And by no means was it good, but it was protein. And like I started watching that show Alone. One of my buddies would always talk about it. And it's like one of my favorite shows. Like they leave the guy in the woods and they see who can last longest. And it comes down to, like, at the end, like, there was one guy that killed a mouse, and he got, like, this much meat out of it. And he was so thrilled. So, like, when I was, like, shopping for some stuff, I'm like, don't kick the bucket on the podcast, Mike.
Yeah.
Actually,
famous.
It would be good for me. Well, it would be good for both of us, but it would make me super famous if you... Well,
right.
I told that to Paul Sr. when we were in my rowboat. I told him because he almost fell in the lake. And I said, if he would die in my rowboat, it would make me super famous instantly.
Right.
He turned around and looked at me like I was an asshole.
Well, you'd probably get what happened, you get all those questions.
I would get some news. I should have pushed them off. Nah. But it's funny, like, the things that, like, my girl's like, we're not going to eat that. I'm like, if there's no other food, that little can of Vienna sausages is going to be like filet mignon,
So, when you moved, are you further away to the further from your shop or closer?
A little further, but minutes. Like, where I was before, I was probably... were you ever at my house?
No.
No, you never visited. Okay. So I'm trying to think. So my old house, when I was in New York, I was like, if I took my time driving, I was like 17, 18 minutes from getting home. If I leave from my shop to my house now, I'm probably 25 minutes.
A little longer.
Yeah, but I actually moved twice. Like the first house, and then now we have a little bit better, nicer house, a little more room.
So how far to OCC then?
From here, it's
right ways.
If I left straight from my house, from door to door, it's probably 35, 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
It's still not bad.
It's not that bad, no. But you know, it's there's no real reason to head up there. I mean, it was cool working with those guys and everything, but you know, they're their own world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been hanging out with Nick then, huh?
No, I actually haven't. I haven't seen that prick in a while. He's he's busy, you know, and being a little further away makes it more difficult to get together. But
right.
you know, I'm sure once this blows over, we'll do some fishing and stuff.
Right. Man, it just sucks. I mean, you just pretty much can't do anything that you'd normally do. I mean, even go fishing might, you know, you still might be able to get out and do that. But
fishing, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, listen, it's just me out there with my fishing pole.
Yeah.
If someone stopped me and told me I couldn't be there fishing, they would physically have to tackle me and arrest me before I could stop fishing. No, luckily, the new house where we live, we have a private lake here, so it's nice. I mean, it's not really fishing ready. It's still a little chilly, but you know, I got my S10, my little project in the garage. I've been tinkering with here and there. So I'll probably like get that running and you know, clean that up and make everything perfect on that. So if this ever goes away, I'll have that little truck to beat around in. You know, little stock Chevy S10. It's pretty cool.
That's the one that's kind of a brown or rusty brown or color.
It's that Corvette orange. That like
right.
Yeah. Got the big cow hood. It's got, you know, it's probably like a 400 horsepower motor. But an S10, that's all you need. Then make that truck fly, you know.
Right.
So it'll just be a fun little truck to beat around in. Probably put the shop name on it.
You've been doing some work on the shop, I saw. You've been doing some work on the outside, and
well, yeah, they actually had the buildings all painted, and now we're cleaning up. We're gonna make like a new sign, and you know, we painted the table. We had a table out front that was a little shitty. We painted that. Actually, Mel painted that.
So Mel hasn't been working in the shop then?
No, like once or twice she stopped by to do some stuff with the sewing.
Shout out to Melanie.
Yeah. You know,
just hanging out with you guys, man. If the SEMA doesn't happen, man, it's gonna be bummed.
Yeah,
man.
It's I listen. My gut's telling me it's not going to happen. I mean, I'm still going to work on my car because, you know, if it's not ready for SEMA, maybe I'll bring it to World of Wheels or something stupid. I don't care. I'm not looking to win any trophies with the car, so wherever I could debut it, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
I may have a somewhat of a partnership to a degree in a big company that hopefully is still happening. And when I can talk about it, I will. But I may have a good part of a company and help a big company come to the United States. And it's a big opportunity. Really great people. So that's another thing that's kind of up in the air now. But the guy that I might be doing that with, he's not scared. You know what I mean? So I think as of now, we're going to push forward as if everything's going to go and. If it does work out, and all this. I mean, listen, the whole world has to be trying to find a cure for this and a vaccine for this thing.
But they've been saying that'll take 12 months. I mean, that's a year away.
You know what? But that's easy to say, but they said that there's some things that took, a year's worth of approvals they got accepted for in like a week. Because, listen, if you're dying in a hospital, or people are dying by the hundreds of thousands, that's going to make people like say, okay, hey, let's move everything out of the way and get this fixed. And that's what they have to do. They have to treat this like, hey, there are 100 doctors, or, there was actually Joe Rogan had said it today. It's in my head. He said, if there's 100 doctors on it, well, let's get 1,000 doctors on it. If there's and then my goal, if there's 1,000 doctors on it, let's get 20,000 doctors on it. Because this is the biggest thing right now. And for the damage it's doing to the economy, it can't afford a year of this. It can't afford 6 months of this.
Right.
So it's either going to be people are going to say, hey, I can't be homeless, so I'm going back to work. If you want to arrest me. So it's it's really putting a lot of people in a bad position, you know.
Right. Well, look at how many, like I say, even people in my family. My son just got called or emailed today. He's going to be out of work till June, you know, but he's going to get unemployment and all that. He works for Macy's, so, uh, you know, they're done for a while now. I mean, crazy stuff happening like
You
that.
know what's the hardest part for me is looking at my daughter.
Right.
And knowing that she now knows that there's a deadly virus out there. And, you know, I probably should have kept the news away from her a little more than I did. But we talked to her about it and everything. But the fact that she has to have that memory in her head, I mean, like, you know, it must be like when kids were her age and the Pearl Harbor happened, or you know, like, I don't know. It's just scary, man. I'm scared. You know, I don't get scared very easily. This is scary, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super careful. I go out. I have the mask. I do everything. Like, you know, I get in a car. I clean my hands. I clean my steering wheel, the shifter. Like, I'm like, you know, because I don't want to. You know, I do have diabetes. You know, so you know, I got to be extra careful. But
right.
You know, this is terrifying because you can't see it. I would really rather people be marching down our street with machine guns. Then you could fight them and say, okay, we handled it. We're done. We're in the clear. But this thing that you can't see and you don't know, especially if you get sick, you don't know you're sick for a little while. You know, you don't know you're contagious. You don't know. But there's some people that say it's been here for longer than this.
Well, my nephew, I just saw him the other day, and he said he got sick really bad in January. He goes, "Did you hear I was sick?" And I'm like, "No, I never heard you were sick." He goes, I passed out." He said he lost 13 pounds and this and that. I'm like,
Really?
wow. I didn't know any of this. You know, he never had said. And he's a pretty healthy kid, you know. He's in college right now. And I didn't know any of that happened to him. 13 pounds on him. I'm like, man. Because he's in good shape, and I can't imagine losing 13 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he said he was really sick, and I've heard other people say the same thing. So who knows, right? I mean, it could have been here longer than we thought.
Well, I got sick probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Maybe it was longer than that. And it was like all these symptoms you're talking about. I mean, obviously a bad flu could do the same thing, but I had fatigue. My body hurt. I had a dry cough. I was having real trouble breathing. I went to the doctor, and they just put me on an antibiotic, and I started feeling better. But it was like, even though I know it probably wasn't the same thing, it's very easy for people to think that because all the symptoms were exactly that. I couldn't even stand up. Like, I had a hard time walking across the room. And I was like, holy shit. And then I had my chest x-rayed, and that they said I may have, they were worrying about pneumonia or whatever, you know. But I started feeling better after that, and that was it. But it lasted a good week and a half, 2 weeks. You know, from when I started feeling shitty to when I felt better, it was like a really long time.
Well, I was sicker than a dog at SEMA. I got a cold from Brady, I think, you know, right before I came to SEMA.
Yeah.
And, you know, we haven't even talked since SEMA. You realize that? I mean,
really?
Other than messaging each other on Facebook.
Oh,
but
man.
we haven't actually had a podcast or talked since then.
Well,
so I never got to say goodbye to you guys. I never saw you leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At SEMA. So we were stuck in that car for 3.5 hours. I don't know if you knew that, but we sat there and we didn't go anywhere. We didn't even get. Well, I might have talked to you about that part.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. I'm losing track of my days. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, listen. Let's try to do it on more of a regular thing. And now that things kind of chilled out a little bit, I have more time. Excuse me, I have more time.
Yeah.
So if you want to, do it again, we can. I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Minecraft. I need to log in. It's not living on 1, 2, 3. I don't know. You created
Minecraft.
I need to log in.
Oh, you need to log into the PlayStation thing. All right, I'll come and help you. Come say goodbye. All right, Mike, I'm gonna hit the road. You know I love you.
No problem. Love you too, bud.
All right.
Have fun playing Minecraft. Have fun.
We have a PS3 and a PS4.
And we have the little Pac-Man game,
Mm-hmm.
and we have what's the Nintendo Switch that you never use?
Well, it's
You
dead.
never use it.
It's dead.
It's dead. It's dead.
It's dead until I'm kind of lost.
What'd you lose?
Nothing. Oh wait, it's in the box. Thank God. Thank God.
All right, Mike.
Gotta love kids, man.
Yeah. So listen, let's keep in touch, and we'll do this more often.
Yeah, we'll get. I'll try to get me and Jeff. We'll try to do
Whenever
it.
you're ready. I think he's a great dude, and I'm happy you guys are hooked up together. And
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to do one with you guys.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll get it set up somehow.
Awesome. All right, brother.
Well, miss you. We'll talk to you later.
You too, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.